friends. Today we're going to use a strap. If you don't have a strap, you can use a belt or a bathrobe tie as we do a little bit of hamstring flossing. Hamstring flossing is great because it not only helps to improve mobility, range of motion, but it can over time release tension or knots or what we like to call like stuck fascia, so the layers of fascia that stick together that don't give you the ease of movement. And this simple technique is something that you can do for just a few minutes a day. So you'll take your strap, come on down to your back. Once you're on the mat or on the carpet, wherever you're going to do this, you can choose to keep the opposite leg long or bent. You may find if the knee is bent that it will bring you a little more relief to the low back. So you're just going to hook the strap. I didn't do anything special. Mine is looped. I'm just going to hold on to the strap, and you'll notice that my leg is upright. If you're struggling with hamstring issues, and this is a lot for you, know that you can keep a soft bend in the knee, and your leg might be a little further away since you may not have that range of motion in the leg, and that's okay. What I would encourage you to do is, as we move through the movement, you're thinking about keeping the foot flat. So you notice I draw my toes back towards my face as if I'm keeping a book on my foot. So as I bend my knee into my chest, I want to press straight up to the sky with my foot. So it's a bend of the knee into the chest and then reach up straight. As if you're looking at a clock, the foot is reaching right up towards 12 o'clock. So just like you floss your teeth, you're going to bring this fluid motion of bending and straightening. Now remember, you may not get a perfectly straight leg here if your hamstrings are tight, and your leg may be more out like this if you're not able to draw in just a little bit more, and that's okay. Great place to start. And we want to do these for a few rounds of breath. So it's this fluid motion. Again, if you think about flossing your teeth forward and back with a floss, this is what we're doing here. Bend the knee, push up through the heel. Bend the knee, push up through the heel. So we're going to keep it here at 12 o'clock, reaching straight up. Notice I'm not dropping my heel. My foot stays flat. I keep lifting up through the foot. And then after a few rounds, I'll keep the strap in that same hand and move my foot as if I were looking at the clock to 11 o'clock. The knee bends and then reach up. Knee bends and reach up. So nice flat foot, reaching up towards 11 o'clock. Fluid motion. And we spend a few rounds of breath here. So notice I'm not pulling the strap to me. I'm not driving my foot into the strap with a whole lot of tension. So it's just a fluid motion. The strap is there as a guide. And then we'll pause, bring the foot back through 12 o'clock, transfer the strap to the opposite hand. And again, looking at the clock, we move the foot towards 1. So same thing, bend the knee, reach up through the foot. So when the foot is out to that same side of the body, we target the adductors. And as the leg crosses the body, we're also targeting the TFL and IT band. So just bringing in some peripheral muscles that support the hamstrings. So it's a bend the knee, push up through the foot. And we do this for a few rounds. Maybe you start with 10 rounds of breath in each 12, 11, and 1 position. So breath in, breath out would be 1 round. Maybe you start with 10 rounds. And then, of course, pause and release the strap. And just take a moment to send both legs along. And notice if you can feel a difference leg to leg. So you may feel sensation from the hips down to the feet, almost as if the leg that you just did is a little softer to the earth, that there might be more ease in the back of the leg. And then we'll set up to do the same thing on the other side. So again, option for the opposite leg to be long or bent. Again, if the knee is bent, that takes a little pressure off the low back. So if you're a friend with low back issues, go ahead and bend the knee. Remember, your leg might be out here. You may keep a soft bend in the knee, but take a bigger bend, reach up through the foot as if you were holding that invisible book on the sole of your foot and trying to reach it up towards 12 o'clock. So it's just a simple bend and straighten. Notice I'm not dropping my heel. I'm keeping my foot flat and reaching up. And we're going to do this for a few rounds. Again, maybe you start with 10 rounds of breath. A couple more rounds here. And then the strap stays in the same hand, moving out to 1 o'clock so we can recruit the adductors along the inner thigh. Bend the knee, push out through the foot. Few rounds of breath here, nice fluid motion, bending the knee, reaching out through the foot to 1 o'clock. Not holding the breath. So it's really important when you're moving to continue to breathe. So it signals to the brain that everything is a-okay. Usually when something's wrong, we brace, we hold our breath, and that sends a signal to the brain that there's something happening, and the muscles tend to constrict, to tighten. And then the leg through 12 o'clock, transfer the strap into the opposite hand. We'll cross the body, moving the foot to 11 o'clock. So same thing, bend the knee, reach out through the foot. And this might be particularly helpful towards the end of the day, maybe after a long day of sitting at the desk, sitting in your car, or perhaps you're just naturally tight through the hamstrings. That's where you tend to hold tension. This might be beneficial before you climb into bed to just bring a little ease into the back body. You might find that it changes your sleep. So a few rounds of breath here. And then releasing the strap, again, sending both legs long. Use the opportunity to check in. So we want to build that interoception, that internal awareness of what is happening in our body. So you notice, maybe bring your awareness to your hips and then scan down the body. And because the fascia is all interconnected in the body, we did a little work through the hamstrings, doesn't mean you might not feel change elsewhere. So notice from the hips up to the crown of the head. I'd love to know what you think of hamstring flossing. Look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.